Tyler, some interesting news from Stats Can this week about farm receipts being up and way up for the first 3 quarters of this year. What do you make of that?
It's not, Chris, a huge surprise. This year has seen commodity prices across the board up. When you start to dig into the numbers, you really see some interesting trends, right? We've the rise in commodity prices has been significant. So that's farmers are making more money, but the rise in expenses has been pretty significant too. And so um, there's a 15% increase in farm receipts. So that's what they sell. A 10% increase in farm expenses. So that difference ends up looking like a 30% increase in income, but really underneath it, it's quite a those margins still stay pretty tight, and a lot of the extra increases in income have been eaten up by expenses. It has been, there is this trend where farmers tend to be making some more money, but they're doing it at a time where they're also spending a lot more money, and so the risks in the business are getting to be pretty high.
Practically, what does that mean for small and family sized farms? To be able to have just a bit more breathing room. What do they do with that extra cash?
No two farms in this country are the same, and kind of the context between different commodities is different. And so I think we've seen a couple of better years, a more consistent run for grains and oilseeds farmers, for example. More pressure in the livestock space where their income isn't going up as high, and so how they respond and react is a bit different. But I think what you can see if you look across the prairies in particular, in southern Ontario, Quebec, where you do see a lot of cash croppers, is that they're taking the increases in income and they're investing it back in the business. And not only is that helping them grow a more profitable business, but a lot of the investments farmers are making today help make them more sustainable. We hear a lot of talk about precision farming, that this isn't something that's going to happen 5 or 10 years down the road. This is happening today, but it takes money and investments, and so this extra income helps position farmers to do more of that. So it's certainly good for the farmers, but I think it makes a better, more profitable, more productive, more sustainable sector at the end of the day too.
And does it give a bit of breathing room, or is it a bit of a hedge against maybe some of the things that are out of their control for next year?
Yeah, and again, I think if you look at what the statistics this week, they really underscore how things do continue to be out of farmers' control. The risk that farmers face is pretty significant because, as I said, the expenses, the fertilizer, the fuel, the seed, are all getting to be more expensive. And so we're lucky that commodity prices have been going up. So the prices for grains and oil seeds, beef and pork have all gone up. But if something happens next year and they go down, probably we wouldn't see things like fuel and fertilizer go down the same rate. And so farmers are facing more risks. It's important that the farmers are thinking ahead about that, thinking about the extra potential for things not to continue on the way that they have, and using some of the extra income that they have this year to better position themselves for the future too.
What is the impact ultimately on pricing? When farm receipts go up, does the pressure come off a bit to pass on some of the extra expenses that you were talking about earlier to consumers?
Yeah, so keep in mind, Chris, what consumers pay, the farmer gets a very, very small share of it. And those price increases that are happening at the grocery stores actually have pretty little to do with what's actually happening on farms across this country. Most of those reflect challenges along supply chain, the extra cost of labor, extra cost of transportation, getting things from farms to the food processor back into the retailer. And so there isn't a huge link between commodity prices, farm income going up, and food prices going up in store shelves. There's more and more focus being paid on that and trying to understand again what's driving food price inflation. The reality is based on what we see and what we know of the facts. It's farm incomes going up is only having a very, very marginal impact on food price inflation.